What the was that, Terry?
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know that I've ever seen a pick four pay. What did it pay yesterday?
10-20, I think.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! What is that? Was there like $42 in the pool, or was it just like it was all favorites? I know favorite, but
I think everybody played it.
I think everybody. I think the whole world's watching us, Terry.
Yeah.
Every horse player on the planet is in on horse racing today's early morning show, where we talk about news, opinions, and analysis, and then we make our pick fours. I think I'm going to officially change the name to the prime rib pick four. Of course, I need your input on this, Terry, but instead of the prime rib pick four, since we're putting it together on the fly, I think we should call it the fly four.
Oh, that sounds good. I like that.
I like alliterations too, Terry. So we're going to call it the fly four. And I guess, in some nomenclature, the fly four can have a different meaning. Like these are the best four, right? Because that's the way the word fly, and that's kind of like an 80s term. I don't know, maybe 90s term. I don't know what year that came up, but it's probably all out of favor now anyway with the youngsters. So we're just dating ourselves with the fly four, and it's a double meaning.
You don't want to say on the fly four?
We could do on the fly four, but I think that kind of takes away from the
double meaning. Yeah.
Well, it also takes away from like the alliteration, right? The fly four, because you're just putting those on the fly four. So I kind of like the back-to-back. In funny story about the word fly. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But normally my chubby blonde girlfriend, my 60-pound yellow lab, is sitting next to me over here. To my right there's a bed next to me in the dungeon down here. When I'm misbehaved, they lock the door and keep me down here for a couple days. But when you say the word fly to my dog, she runs. It's the most funny thing in the world. So like if she's being annoying, I just go fly. She gets up and leaves the room. It's pretty funny. So, but in any case, we're just going to go with the on the fly four. So let's talk about news like we always do, Terry. There's a bunch of different little things. We're going to cover 3 things today instead of our normal 2. One's really more of a did you know, so it doesn't take up much time.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot of times about things that aren't right with horse racing, I guess, for a lack of a better term, and things where people are talking about how to make the sport better. We'll have a story about that, but this one kind of concerns me a little bit, Terry. And this is what's called decoupling. Honestly, I have to say this is something that I haven't heard a lot about until I read this article today. Had you heard about this before?
Yeah, a little bit. I know that the casinos are not wanting to share the money for the horse racing industry because it cuts into their profit, and they don't get anything back in return. They don't feel. Mm-hmm. So they've been wanting to do this for quite a while. They've been pushing to do this. Matter of fact, it actually was demise of greyhound dog racing. One of the things that got rid of that. So,
and it's also really limited the exposure to harness racing, from what I read.
Yes, it really
used to be harness racing. It used to be that the casinos could be open on the days the harness races were open. Then the casinos were open and the tracks weren't open as long as they had an OTB, right?
Right.
And now the casinos. So basically what happened was, just to kind of rewind the story to the very beginning, casinos wanted some action. They wanted to get in. So what they did is they kind of bribed the horse racing industry because it was legal betting, right?
Right.
And they said, okay, let us open up on your tracks and we'll share, or in the state, right? Because horse racing was fighting the casinos, right, and we'll share revenue with you.
Yes.
And then once they got their foot in the door, they said, we don't need you no more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And kind of broke the treaty, if you will. Seems as some of that's kind of running around these days. But this one, of all the things we talked about in terms of the health of horse racing, probably concerns me the most.
Yeah, because it can really hurt horse racing. It can be, go the same path as the greyhound dog racing went. So,
or what'll happen is they'll be racing in 3 states.
Yeah, California, New York, and Florida. That's it, right?
And maybe Kentucky, because Kentucky's kind of like Kentucky is like the that's the sacred ground. It's like the what is it, Graceland of horse racing for Elvis, right?
Yeah, it is. But all the other states are going to get rid of them. It really is.
I know the governor in Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, he wants to get rid of horse racing, it looks like, in the worst way, because he's proposed legislation and budgets the last couple of years that really take away from some subsidies that they've agreed to give to horse racing. And then he wants to take them away and spend them on other things. Unfortunately, in the story here, they make some unfair comparisons. For example, they talk about education and how they spend $15,000 per horse in subsidies and only $5,000 per kids in education. Well, you've got what, 1,000 horses maybe in the state of Pennsylvania? I don't know what the number is, but let's even put it at 2,000. There's high schools in Pennsylvania, down in the Allentown, Philadelphia, out in Pittsburgh, in the metropolitan areas that have 1,000 kids in the high school, some of them with 1,000 kids in the graduating class. So to make that comparison is a false comparison. That's a case of where numbers lie.
Yeah, I know. And they do that whenever they want to slant it their way. So
no country. Look, folks, let's just be square up about this. Politics aside, it's not a country on the planet that spends more money on education than the United States does. I can show you my tax bill to prove it.
Yep.
Hands down. It's just not even an issue. Next story, which I found kind of interesting, Terry. This is another one. I was familiar with this, but it's not something that I had heard a lot about. But the Stronach group is instituting a cargo ship ban on transporting horses, primarily from Puerto Rico to South Florida. To me, I can't imagine you would do it from like Japan to like California, or Europe. But this seems to me to be a thing that makes a lot of sense. I can't imagine me going in a cargo ship, as a means of transportation from here to anywhere. So I think this one makes good sense, but I think it's one of those things that kind of looks better on paper than it might really be, because it's not as common as people might think it is.
Yeah, I don't think as many horses go that way. That I don't think it's a big thing. So yeah, and they're saying they're doing it so that the horses don't come out dehydrated and have a hard time. So I don't have any problem at all with them doing this.
I don't have any problem at all, but it just seems to me it's a headline almost in the event to make a headline, because they don't talk about how many horses are actually shipped by container, other than the primary route is between Puerto Rico and South Florida, particularly Gulfstream Park. So maybe it's an issue down in Gulfstream Park. Maybe it's a state's issue or something along those lines. And I understand, since Stronach Group is the owner of Gulfstream Park, this is a good way. And they said basically, if you do that, you're banned. You can't run at a Stronach Group track anymore. So I understand that makes sense. But what if somebody ships one in a container to, say, Louisiana, and then brings it from Louisiana over from the fairgrounds to the Gulfstream? How is that considered?
Yeah, I have no idea. And I think Stronach Group is doing this just to get some positive press, tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing it with the right interest in heart. But again, I think it's one of those things that it probably sounds worse than it really is.
Yeah.
At least in terms of, you get this picture that all these horses are being shipped and overcrowded in these cargo containers, but I don't know that that's the case. Maybe somebody who knows more about this can chime in and let us know about what happens really with this. It's not something I think is prevalent in horse racing today. All right, Terry, we're going to go with a did you know here?
I did.
Yeah, because this is you did know this?
Yes, I did.
I did not know this until today. So I did not know that the Big Apple, the nickname for New York City, actually comes from horse racing.
Horse racing, yes.
I did not know that. And it's because back in the day, I guess, at the African-American run farms, or where they were working with the horses, when they would ship the horses into New York City, they would say, we're going to the Big Apple.
Because they paid more. The purses were bigger. So that's why.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Windy City is another one. Did you know why they call the Windy City the Windy City?
Because of the politicians.
Man, I can't get anything by you, Terry. Nothing. You're sharp today, my friend. No question about it.
Thank you. I feel sharp.
Yeah, good. That's the way we all should always feel. I have my caffeine today from my only It's my one and only vice. That's Diet Mountain Dew. I got to kick it, folks, because the sad thing is if I don't drink it, I get these crazy like caffeine withdrawal headaches. And I get headaches to begin with from my sinuses and stuff. So I have found over the years that if I drink caffeine, and so I don't really like coffee. So if I drink caffeine, I don't get as many headaches.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those things that I'm damned if I do and I damned if I don't, Terry.
Yeah, I don't actually get headaches very often.
You're lucky.
I don't drink soft drinks at all. I drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and that's all. That's all the caffeine.
And then a bottle of whiskey at night, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I've actually
2 bottles.
Yeah. I actually haven't been drinking for about a month now. So
yeah. I'm just joking with you, Terry.
I know
we're here to have fun, my friend.
I know.
And at your expense, not mine. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get talking with horse racing today. Terry, tell us what happened with your all your picks were scratched yesterday, right?
That's correct. They were all scratched. There were 22 scratches at Colonial Downs yesterday because of the weather. So, Well, it probably would have been a 1-5 anyway, the way the odds went yesterday, and the horses winning over at Colonial Downs. So, yeah.
All right. So today we're at Saratoga. I know there's some scratches there today. They have some weather. A lot of the early turf races have been moved to the dirt. It's raining. It's expected to rain off and on throughout the course of the day. So I do expect there'll be some more scratches. The last 2 races, they haven't posted any scratches yet, and they're also showing the main track horses on some of the turf races. So I expect in race number 9 that's on the turf, you will see some scratches later on. I don't think they've decided if it's on or off the turf yet, so we'll have to keep that in mind when we're doing our pick 4s. But fire away, Terry. What do you like today for your pick of the day?
Well, I like in the 6th race at Saratoga, and that's the race before the pick 4 starts, so it's for the pick 5. I like number 8, Miss Domina. Came into the stretch 4 wide and still ran second in her last race. And she has a high percentage jockey, Louis Saz, in the irons. And then I like number 7, Crowding Out. Ran a good third in her first race and has trainer Chad Brown and jockey Irod Ortiz Jr. And they've been hot in the last 14 days. Out of 19 combinations, they've won 5, a 1 second and 4 thirds. And then my third pick was scratched. So that's how it.
Well, let me throw one in there for you, Terry, on your third pick, Sand and Sea.
Okay, yeah.
I went back and looked in getting prepared for this. Some of the how horses run, the gait and the style biases on a wet track at Saratoga during the current meet. And what I found is 5 of the 10 winners at the 5.5 furlongs on the dirt when the track was sloppy or muddy, which is it's ranked now muddy. And if it continues to rain, probably going to move to sloppy. But 5 of the 10 winners left from the rail, which I found kind of interesting because in some later races that we'll get to, that's not the case. And then 8 of the 10 on a sloppy or a muddy track were actually first or second at the quarter pole. And in terms of early pace, the 1 horse Sand and Sea could be the pace setter. So let's add that one in there for your pick, Terry. Write it down for tomorrow so that when we review the pick of the day, if the 1 horse wins, we get credit for it and we can go home a winner. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
But if he runs out of the money, it was your idea.
Okay.
All right, Terry. So now we've officially changed the name, as I mentioned, to the, well, Terry said on the fly pick 4. We're going to make it the fly pick 4. I just put it on the fly pick 4 before we made the official program change here so we can trademark it along with our hot dog pick 4. Nathan's, if you're listening, give us a call. If there's a fly fishing shop out there that wants to give us a sponsorship, make sure you reach out to us too. You can find me at gtsrichb@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook at Racing Radar, on Twitter at Racing Radar. Soon we'll have TikTok and Sean dancing with music and tools. He says he'll never do it. We're going to get him to do it. And then, and of course, you could just go to horseracingradar.com. It's a great website, a lot of free contests, a lot of great content there. So, all right, Terry, it's time to get to work with our on the fly pick 4. So it's at Saratoga today. Before we get started, and I brought this up in the beginning here, and I said, you'll understand when I get to it. I guess that was when we were off air, right? I don't know if I talked about that on it. All right. So of the 4 races, race 7, 8, 9, and 10, which one do you think is the most difficult? Well, no. The one that's most wide open.
Well, I actually think that the 9 is most wide open.
You think the 9th race is wide open?
Yep,
Okay.
I do.
And how about for me? I think the first race is the most wide open. Race number 7. I think a lot of horses can win that race. And of course, you think the 10th race, based upon your hot dog pick, is the least open, right?
Yeah, except for, let's see, I think the 10 horse in the 9th race. What did you just say?
I said the 10th race is the one that you think is the least competitive, based upon your hot dog pick.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do.
So in terms of ticket construction today, let's do this. Since I think the race number 7 is the most difficult, you think race number 9 is the most difficult. So that means for us, the 8th and the 10th are the easiest.
Yes.
So why don't we start with race number 10? We'll go to race number 8 because this is actually how I would construct the ticket. I would start at the races that I felt, especially if I have a budget, that are the, for lack of a better word, easiest. And that way I can get my horses in the easy ones, and then I know how much money I have to budget to the other ones. Sound like a deal?
It does.
All right. So let's go cracking with race number 10 then. And race number 10 is it's a maiden claiming race, if I remember correctly, for 6 furlongs on the main track. Maiden claiming 40,000. It's kind of a big field. And I think I know where you're going with the first one, Terry. But before we head into that, let's talk a little bit about the surface and the track under difficult conditions. So they've had 7 races at the current meet at Saratoga where the track was listed again as muddy or sloppy. 5 of those winners came from post positions 1 through 4, and 6 of the 7. Oh no, I'm sorry. 5 of the 7 were for post 4 and out. And then, so the inside 3 have only won 2 times in 7 races when you have a muddy to sloppy track. And then as far as pace is concerned, 6 of the 7 horses that won the race were either first or second, with 4 of them going wire to wire. So it looks like to me, what you're looking for here is outside speed. And I have a feeling you're going to go with inside speed. So who are you starting this with?
I am. Number 1, Clear Humor. He has the highest percent jockey.
Well, Clean Humor works too.
Yeah.
It works for Larry the Cable Guy, right? And Jeff Foxworthy, right? They have Clean Humor.
That's true. Anyway, he has the highest percent jockey and the highest last race speed rating. The trainer wins 37% of the time after he claims a horse and brings it back. And he has the horse has the fastest dirt speed among today's starters.
The rail's winning at 21%, but it does not win at the distance and surface when the track is wet. Clear Humor for trainer Brittany Russell does have some solid mud and sloppy track pedigree numbers. So I do like the one there. I don't like the post position. You can't throw the 1-to-1 out, especially in this tortoise spot. You don't want to get beat by that. But I have another horse in here, Terry, and this is a long shot because I have a feeling if we're going to get beat, we're going to get beat by a long shot. I am going to go to the outside here, and a horse that has shown no speed ever before. So it's breaking like every single rule. This is just the intuition play on my part. Of course, you have the veto power. But Captain Remington, the 4-horse. What's interesting to me is last time out ran 3rd, was 10 lengths behind. When I done my pace analysis, it does have by far the best late pace figures in the field. But what's interesting to me is trainer Michael Maselli takes this horse from maiden claim in 25,000, puts the horse on the shelf for a little while, and then decides to bring him back up a class. He's won at 24% on that angle, right? So there must be something that he saw in the workouts. And I'm going to look back at July 29th, the last time, well, it was two workouts ago, at Belmont, where he ran the fastest of 35, 4 furlong times, and that was on the training track. And when you look back at his other past performance workouts, Captain Remington didn't have a bullet listed anywhere. All of a sudden, there's a bullet workout there. Then there's kind of a light, just keep him kind of sharp or at least in form workout. So if there's a long shot that might surprise us and get close to the front based upon that that real strong workout back there on July 29th, does have the fastest late legs in the field. If Captain Remington breaks sharp today and sitting right behind the one horse, I think he can run by him.
Yeah, and actually, he has the second best buyer number in the race. So,
you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
All right, you're with me. I thought I was going to have to sell you harder than that, Terry. You're an easy sell, my man.
No, because I like
you want some insurance?
Well, yeah, I like another one in there. I like number 6.
No, I meant like I'm going to try to sell you a real insurance right now.
Oh, no, I don't want any.
All right, so you want to go another one in here? Okay,
yeah,
what do you want to go here?
I want to talk about number 6.
D'Amelio?
D'Amelio, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He ran
D'Amelio?
third. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dame Amelia, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
He ran third in his last race as the favorite, but had an excuse that he was bumped and bothered during the race. Then the trainer has been doing fairly well lately.
James Bond, huh?
Yeah.
You got to always bet on James Bond. I mean, 007 always comes through, right?
Yeah, that's true. So,
I mean, can you imagine growing up with that name? What's your name? James Bond. Bond. James Bond. I mean, that would be ideal. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and also he has Santana in the irons, so I like that jockey. So this is my second pick, actually. The 4 was my third pick, so that's why I wasn't too.
That's why I didn't have to work too hard to sell you the life insurance you don't need.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you want to put the 6 in right now, or do you want to put them off to the side in case we need more money to fill out the rest?
Yeah, let's wait until we see.
I'm going to put them over here off to the side. That's an indication that we're not, because I had the 6th as my second pick because it does have the best combination of early pace and late pace figures in the field. I agree with you on that. And of course, I love names, and you can't go against James Bond, as I mentioned already. That's a big fan of James Bond.
Yeah.
All right. So race 10. So the other race that we agree that I'm not going to say easiest, but it's not as wide open as the other two is race number 8. And I know I have you shuffling your paperwork, Terry, because you weren't ready for me to pull this stunt on you today. But let's go ahead and look at race number 8. This is going to be 1 mile. It was supposed to be on the inner turf course. It's not going to be on the inner turf course. This race has been moved to dirt. So I look back, and unfortunately, they haven't run any 1 mile races on the dirt, at least that I saw in my recorded history of me to date winners at Saratoga Racetrack. So we're kind of on the fly in terms of any sort of bias for the track. Terry, I'll let you get us started. What's your first pick?
I like the number 1, Teos. He has won 40% of the races this year and switches to a high percentage trainer. Also switches to a high percentage jockey. And the rail post is winning at a 19% clip, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is my 4th pick, actually. So, and again, this is an open one for me. So since it was my 4th pick, I'm okay with it. What I like is Danny Gargan. I think is one of the best under the radar trainers on the planet. When he gets some time off with a horse, they usually come back and they win at a really high clip. I mean, he wins at about 31% with horses coming off of a long layoff. And this horse has been on a long layoff. It hasn't run since May of 1920. Hasn't run in 102 years, kind of like the Cubs winning a World Series. It might be another 102 years based upon what management's doing now. Anyway, I know Tom's off on the side there shaking his head in agreement with me. But the only thing that concerns me about this one horse is the big break. Like I said, Danny Gargan does get them ready, but the workouts to me show, well, there was one on July 24th that was really sharp. And the workouts are pretty good. So, yeah, I'm worried about the time off. But anyway, let's go ahead and put the one in there because it was my 4th pick.
And, I've told you that I don't like horses been off for quite a while. But this horse, to me, has shown really good workouts. And I think that, it's shown in the past that it can run pretty decent after a long layoff. It went in August 25th to December 13th in 2019, and it ran a good second in its first race back. So,
okay, I'm so you don't have to. I'll take the life insurance too. For me, my top pick is number 6, Parlor. Parlor has taken the biggest drop in class in the field. And then when you look at the horse, it's the first time with the new trainer here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think if I remember correctly, is Michael Maker. Yes. Well, no, it's not the first time a new trainer. First time the Michael Makers put this horse in the claiming ranks. Forgive me, I can't read my own handwriting. Never could. And Michael Maker wins at 25% when he moves a horse down to the first time into claiming ranks. And that 25% is not 1 out of 4, folks. That's 212 races. So that's a real angle. It's there's enough data there for it to actually have some meaning. So I do like to see that. And then since the last time this horse ran Parlor, Michael Maker has given it 19 furlongs of workout. So the horse should be fit. And typically it's run some decent races off the break, not the best. But I do like that there were 2 bullet workouts recently coming into this race. So you're getting, I think, a couple of really nice angles in this horse. I like the 6 horse, Terry. What do you think?
Yeah, he's my third pick, but you need to move the 1 from the 7th race down to the 8th race.
Oh, yes, you're right, Terry.
But I do like the 6 Parlor, and he's actually got one of the best turf speeds in the race. So,
okay, well, again, they're not going to be running on turf.
Well, that's true.
So This is a dirt race.
That's true.
So keep that in mind. All right, and what's your next pick?
Number 2, Musical America.
All right.
He drops in class today. Should improve while returning to a route. And he has a hot trainer jockey combo in the last 14 days. 4 mounts, 2 wins, and a second.
Right. For me, the number 2 horse is okay. Drop in class, I like that. But again, we're looking at a horse race that is going to be off the turf and on the dirt. When you look at the off dirt numbers for number 2, American Parlor, if I remember correctly,
American Music,
Musical America. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what happens when I rely on my brain. He's won. He's been on an off track 5 times, a handful of times. He has 3 seconds and a third. Right. But when you look at the pedigree and some of the numbers, they jump off the page relative to everybody else. So I am in agreement with you on the 2 horse American Music. Do you have any others that you'd like to add, Terry?
Let's see here. I like number 7, Attentive, but I don't know that we should add it at this point.
Okay, so we'll move number 7 off to the side here too, because I have him as my second pick. Well, you know what? I want to add him, Terry. I'm going to lock him in. All right.
Yeah, he's my 4th pick. So
here's why. Okay, so Robertino Diodoro is claiming this horse and running him for the first time. You and I have seen this. We were on a show together when Robertino Diodoro put out a horse after he had just claimed him.
Right.
It was a distance and a surface where speed won, and that horse had a history of closing. Well, Robertino had that horse out on the lead after a history of closing. I think Robertino is going to take a horse here in the 7 horse that's typically closer to the back than he is to the front. At least he was for the previous trainer. I think you're going to see this horse move forward. Attentive. He does have the best late pace figures in the field. And looking at the workouts, there was one workout a couple back where he ran him pretty quick. I think Attentive, if Robertino can get him near the front, which is what I think you're going to see David Cohen try to do with this horse, then Attentive can run away with this. So I think we should have the 7 in there.
And he's really been in good condition and form in the last 3 races. And he also on an off track ran once and won once. So that's some good stuff.
Good
stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So any other horses? I think that's the maximum we can go here.
That's
all right. So do you want to go race number 9 or race number 7?
Let's do 9. Yeah, let's do 9.
All right. I'm going to start with this race. So I think this race is personally a 2 or 3 horse race. Number 3 is okay. Let me start again. This race is for now is expected to be on the turf still, but I don't think they've made any scratches yet, Terry. So I don't know if you want to take a look at that real quick and see if they have made any scratches. Because if I do it, I'll change my screen. But for me, the horse that I want to start with is number 3, Dairy Name, or whatever the name of the horse is. Dairy Name, yes. First time it ran got a good track. So if they do run on the track, the track's going to probably be good to Yearling. He did get the chance to run didn't get a firm footing, ran away from the pack late, and was the even money favorite for jockey Joel Rosario, who stays on the mount for Christopher Clement. So I think this is a horse that has a shot if it's on the turf to win, if the turf is off, but also has some of the best pedigree if it moves off to an off track.
Yeah, and there have been no scratches so far. And actually, that horse is my top pick. As you said, it's well bred. Won her first race easily and had a bullet work on August 8th. 3 furlongs at 36.3, breezing, first out of 8 mounts. So, yeah.
All right. Your next pick.
Number 5, Poppy Flower. Has a high percentage jockey. Won her last race at Belmont Park on the turf and at 6 furlongs. She has a sharp workout of 48.1 breezing, 6 out of 47 workouts.
That was on the training track for Wesley Ward, not on the main track, which is okay. It's an angle Brad Cox has been using and worked okay for Brad Cox. I have to say it's not my favorite pick here, Terry, but we'll go ahead and put him in because it was my 4th pick. But I also want to save a little bit of money for the top of the ticket too, because I feel like that's that's going to be a tightly contested spot. And if we don't win the first one, we'll be done. And unfortunately, we've had too many of the first and done of late. My second pick is, this is a real close one for me. I'm going to go with the 8 horse here, and that's Fulminate.
Yes.
One that start last time out with the highest race speed figure, but that was down at Gulfstream for trainer Mark Cass, bringing him up to New York, which is a solid thing. The workouts at Saratoga, however, the one workout is very concerning to me, and that's because it's 22 of 22. But you can't – I don't think you can look past a horse that ran a last race speed figure above par for this spot. I hope it can do it again in New York. Or she can do it again in New York.
Yeah. I agree with that. Actually was my 4th pick. So
we're putting Fulminate in or no?
Yes.
All right. And then I think we have space for one more, Terry. So let's.
Okay.
All right. Before we do that, you tell me which one you wanted to go with one more, and I'll tell you which one I wanted to go with one more. And if it's the same horse, then we'll just put it in.
Number 11, Avery Jane.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If Avery Jane gets in.
Yeah.
That's because true. Avery Jane is a main track entrant. That's why I'm convinced that they haven't. That's why I know they haven't made up their mind yet in terms of what they're going to do in that race. I agree with you. So let's put the 11 over here, but let's put the caveat in, Terry. For me, the 11 is the top choice if the 11 gets in the race.
Yes.
But the may not get in this spot. So we're just going to put them off to the side. And for me, the other horse I wanted to put in here was the number 9 horse, Chi-Town Lady. Any horse that goes off at Keeneland. I mean, Keeneland is a top tier track. No question about it. It's not a junior track. It's not Louisiana Downs. It's not Hawthorne. Keeneland is the real deal. And Chi-Town Lady went off at 1-5 at Keeneland. They like that horse.
They did.
So to me, that was a horse, and it won easily. So I think we should put Chi-Town Lady in here because looking back at races at 5.5 furlongs on the turf or on the dirt, you want a horse that's going to be near the front, and you typically want an outside post at Saratoga for this spot. That horse fits both of those things. So what do you think about Chi-Town Lady?
Yeah, I'll go with that. It wasn't one of my picks, but yeah. And as you can see, this is to me, a wide open race. So.
Well, I think they both are, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so the 11 is my top pick if it gets in, folks. But for now, we're not going to count it in terms of when we do our ticket price. But make sure that if it gets moved and the scratches come later, the 11 horse moves up to my top pick. And then for me, it would go 11, 3, 8, and I mean the 8 and the 9 are a toss-up for me, so I can't really pick between the two of them. All right, Terry. So let's go ahead and close this show out with where we should have, where most people would have started, and that's in race number 7. So as it stands right now, we have 4x4, so that's 16 times 2 is 32, right?
Yep.
So if we wanted to, we could put as many as 6 horses in this spot, I think, and the numbers would still work out right? 12, yes. 192. We could put in, that would be 96.
Yep.
I personally don't have 6 horses, so I think we can maybe we can squeeze the 4 horse in there, the 6 horse in the last leg, or do you want to see what we have in race 7 before we decide to do the 6?
Well, actually, I have just 4 horses in there myself, so
maybe they're the same 4.
Yeah, that could be. Let's see what we've got first, and then we can.
All right.
If we want to squeeze the 6 in.
Who's your top choice? Okay, one quick thing here. Yeah. Again, based upon 6.5 furlongs on an off track, most of the horses that have won have been a speed horse in the sloppy track, typically running second or third at the quarter-mile marker, and typically second-ish, maybe first or second at the half-mile marker. So once again, I feel like you want to look at speed here.
Yeah, that's and I agree with that. So saying that, number 7 before you is my top pick. She has early speed running style, and it'll help her chances with this one. She's 1-for-1 at this track, and she has a high percentage jockey, and ran third on her first race while being pressured the entire race. So.
Okay. I agree with you. The 7 was one of my 4, so that makes it easy. For me, my top pick is Bayshore Foxes, the 1 horse. It's got 2 runs across a sloppy track, a first and a second, with the top speed figures on and off track. And then it also has the top pedigree for the off track. So for me, the 1 horse should be the one that comes out of the gate the fastest as well. So early pace should matter. I feel like the 1 horse might be able to get to the lead, Larry, and take them from pillar to post.
Yeah, I like the 1. It's my 4th pick. And it, like you said, it has the highest race speed rating. And the early speed running style will help the chances. And she may improve with shorter distance.
All right. So what's next for you?
Number 6, Air Cavalry. She can handle the distance, and her early speed running style will help her chances.
All right, Terry. So this is one that is, for me, is on the edge, the 6 horse.
Yeah.
Let's the 6 horse probably wins now, folks. You can lock it in, right? So let's put the 6 horse to the side and see if maybe we can put it in. I mean, I'm not vetoing it at all, but it is one that I feel like we might be able to beat. I have it as my 5th choice on the board. So It's a little bit outside my comfort range. Are you going to lock it in, Terry? You do have the lock it in option.
No, I'm going to wait and see. So,
all right. My next horse is the 3 horse, and that is Cardu de Pays, I think maybe something like that. It's been on an off track 7 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And of course, you have the number 1 jockey here in Irad Ortiz. I feel like the 3 horse is also one that's going to be on the early foot. It should be right behind the 1 horse. And then, and that's another reason why I prefer the 1 and the 3 over the 6, is I think they're both going to be on the speed early on, but both of them will be ahead of the 6 horse. And when you look at the late pace numbers, the 3 horse has a definite late pace advantage over the 6 horse as well. So I would prefer the 3 over the 6.
Okay, I like the 3 too. It's my 3rd pick. She's having a good year. She's finished 66% of the time in the money, winning 33% of those races. And going back to the 6, the biggest reason I like the 6 is that it's been improving every race for the last 3 races.
Mm-hmm. 3 consecutive speed and figure improves.
Yeah.
I see that,
and
which is a blessing or a curse, because sometimes the 4th one is a bounce. It could be. They either get better or worse, but there's definitely like a breaking point on that 3rd one.
Yeah, and it just lost by a nose last time, but I have a long shot in here that kind of intrigues me, and it's number 4, April Antics. And it ran a 3rd on the July 25th at Saratoga, and it's actually got a 20. The trainer wins 25% after a claim. So
Michael Simmons.
Yeah.
So yeah. I kind of agree on the 4 as a long shot too. This is why I thought this race was the most difficult of all the races. You can see Terry and I are all over the place. All right. So for me, my long shot is number 8, and that's Tagged Return. So now we're going to go between the 6, the 4, the 8, and there's even the 2 horse I think we should consider in this spot, Terry. Yeah. Targeted Return. Last time out, it did win, and that was as last race as a 2-year-old. Has since gone to the bench for trainer Chad Brown. Chad Brown, right?
Yeah.
Tyler Caffleone, another very good jockey. Getting Lasix for the first time. None of the numbers look very good, but the workouts at Monmouth, where you're not allowed to use a whip, have been really good. And then on top of that, my experience says a lot of with 3-year-olds making their 3-year-old debut, one of 2 things happens. They either they mirror their 2-year-old form, and in this case, Targeted's return 2-year-old form was terrible, or they were terrible, and then their 3-year-old debut was, hey, look at me, I'm bigger, stronger, faster. I'm a look at me now horse. I feel like Targeted Return can be a look at me now horse. Because you got the strong connection with Chad Brown and you got a good jockey with Tyler Gaffleone. I to me, this is a value play for me.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't picked it as one of mine only because it was a long time since it raced, but I would agree with it.
Okay, so we got the 2, the 6, the 8, and the 4, Terry. So we can put 3 of those in and leave the ticket as is, and I think we would win the first leg. Probably the 5 horse would win then. But so we have the 2, 6, and 8 and 4. If you want, we can put 3 of them in and leave the ticket as B. Or do you want to narrow it down to 2 or 3? What do you 2 of them and leave the 6 horse out? I think we can leave the 6 horse out on the back end and probably come out okay. And if there's a scratch, maybe you could substitute the 6 in for the 1 or the 4. But what do you think? I'm for let's put 3 of them in and then just roll with it and see if we can get it.
Let's do that. Let's put the 3 in and roll with it.
Okay, so we both agree with the 4. We'll get the 6. All right. So that leaves between, well, we both agree with the 8.
Yes.
You like the 6. All right. So we'll put the 8 and the 6 in. So the battle's between the 2 and the 4, Terry.
Okay.
Which one do you want?
Let me see here. I actually like I like the odds on the 4 the best.
But what about the horse? Forget about the odds. What about the horse?
I like the horse too. You know, it 3 times it's been out. It's won 1 and ran 3rd once.
Mm-hmm.
It likes the off track. That's where it's done the best running. So I like it better than
the 2
than the 2 for me.
All right, there we go. We'll go with that. We'll make your call. I'll give you the last one. If the 2 horse wins, Terry, you're never invited on the show again.
That's okay with me.
All right. So just to rerun. Oh, that's okay. Thanks. You love doing this. All right. So in race number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going 6 deep in the first leg because it is, in my opinion, the most difficult. So we're going to go 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. In race number 8, we're going to go 1, 2, 6, 7. In race number 9, we're going to go 3, 5, 8, and 9. Not when we actually got in numerical order. And if the 11 horse does scratch into the race, we like the 11, so replace one of the horses with the 11. And then in race 10, we're going to go with the 1 and the 4. And if either the 1 or the 4 kicks out, or you have a bigger budget than Terry and I do, go ahead and throw the 6 in there. That ticket works out to be $96, Terry.
It does.
Yes, and this is the fun of putting a ticket together on the fly.
Yep, it is.
All right, and then real quickly, let's throw up our hot dog pick 4s because that was quite an exercise there. I can see Tom over there is yawning and going to sleep. So here's our hot dog pick 4s. So Terry's got the 1, 6, and 7, the 1, 2, 6, 7 in race number 8. In race 9, Terry has the 3, 5, and again, the 11 is an also entry or also eligible, however you put it. That horse is not in the race as of yet, but I have a feeling when the scratches come, it will be in there. And Terry closes out the show with the solo on the 1. In race number 7, I like the 1, the 3, and the 8, so I left the 2 off of my ticket there too. Race number 8, the 2, 6, 7. Race 9, the 3 and the 8. And race 10, the 1 and the 4. Both tickets are $18. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I feel like we can win 4 ways if we get the right path, but I just don't want to win and get $10 again.
No, I don't want that at all. So
me either. All right, that's time to bring Tom in and move across the shore. Tom right now is Tom has got to be happy. He's got to be gloating. He's 25 and 22 to 1, Tom, today, because in our picks yesterday, if you watched, Tom had some nice prices yesterday up top.
Wow. That's pretty
I
cool.
cannot complain.
You can't complain?
No,
well, how can you complain? You had a 25 to 1. You had to, did you have the trifecta in that first race? I think you did.
Yeah, I think I did. The main one was just getting Royal Partridge across the line. And,
yeah, it was. The first one.
The speed is holding up there, and he went 1 second faster than the standard. So he ran a really credible race.
He did. He almost got run down at the end, but no, he held in there.
And he did enough. They weren't getting them, and the ones that were the favorites were going nowhere.
And what about Mishriff, boy? Woo!
Yeah, impressive.
Woo! Yesterday, I think you said they plan on bringing this one over here for the Breeders' Cup.
Well, I mean, they're going to do the ARC first without question. I don't know what they'll use as a prep, but yeah, I still think he's a classic horse.
Yeah, if you watch that race was and that was a quality. That was not a claiming 5,000 at Turf Paradise race. That was a legit field, and you talk about easy work. Floyd Mayweather says, "What work? Easy work."
Well, and that was a £1 million race, so that equates to what, 1.3 million
for today. Wow. Tomorrow it'll be 1.5. So the way they're printing money,
and he's already won the Saudi race, which is not chump change either.
No, I mean that was just a. In the old fashioned, when I grew up as a kid, someone got beat up, it was called an ass whooping, and that's what that was. That was ass whooping. No question.
When he was asked to go, David Egan, when he asked that horse to go, gone.
Yeah, it was a clown show for the rest of the horses in the field. I mean, no doubt about it. So, the first race tomorrow at York. This is a 6 furlong group of fillies, 2 years old. Tom, this is going to be another fun one, and.
A straightaway.
Yeah, straightaway. 6 furlongs.
And the center, it's a center start, and the center is playing the best right now. Anything that I saw on the grandstand side in these 6 furlong races today were doing absolutely nothing. It was all the center horses that were winning these races. So that being said, I did take my top choice is the undefeated horse, Sandrin, who has draw 8. Undefeated, won at Royal Ascot, beat some of these horses, and the trainer is doing a 23% clip over the last 14 days and winning with all age horses. So she's going to be really tough in the here, and I don't know if there's anybody who's as good as she is. At number 8, Nifadora is my second choice at withdraw 2.
There's your 22 to 1 Tom horse right there. I mean, those numbers are right on your name.
Yep. Had issues in her last race. She ducked left at the start. She was scratched from last Saturday race to race here, so they must feel they got a better chance in this race. The same trainer as the top horse. Keep that in mind. The other thing I liked to saw was that the winner, the guy that's won on this horse, Jason Watson, is back to riding this horse again. And the other reason is she won at York.
1 for 1 at York. I know that in my notes.
That angle. It was a listed race, so it's a notch below, 2 notches below this, but still has had excuse in the last race and has won over this track. My final selection is number 5, Illustrating, draw 6. Won last out at Goodwood over the soft going. He won his first start on Good to Firm, which is what I think we'll get tomorrow. At the Royal Ascot race, she lost her rear 4 shoe during the race. And if you notice today, I don't know if you noticed it, but in one race, they ran a horse and they announced that he'd lost a shoe going down to the start. Still finished second. So, thought that was really interesting.
But it's not the shoes.
Yeah.
Not like Michael Jordan. It's not the shoes.
My question was Illustrating was in that Royal Ascot races. When did she lose the shoe? Because she was going well. and then all of a sudden she wasn't. So I'm thinking it was sometime in like the 2 furlong out marker, or maybe the one, somewhere in that 1 to 2 furlong area. She lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. But I did find interesting the last race that she won, the next out race. That before that, the horses in that race that she ran against, there are 2 of them have won and 7 of them have placed. So the second,
race.
5th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 12th, the 14th, 16th, and 18th horses, so big field obviously, have all either won or placed.
Tough field, yeah.
So that, if you're a big believer in key races, that was definitely a key race.
I would circle that one for sure too. Yeah. Terry, did you take a look at any of these or no?
I did, yes, and I agree with Tom on the first pick is Sandrine. I mean, she's been perfect so far, and she's very versatile. She can run concerning the turf. Surface doesn't matter. And I think David Probert knows just how to ride her. And then I liked number 11, Zane Claudette. She's had 2 wins and a place in 3 starts, and she won her last 2 races and keeps improving every run, it seems to me. And then I like the number 2 horse, Desert Dreamer. Finished in the money 5 out of 6 times, although she's already been beaten by Sandrine. And then I like number 4, Hello You, when she's had 2 wins and 2 places in 6 starts. So
for me, when I'm dealing with these 2-year-olds, all I basically do is look at times and hope that one of them runs back to that time, because as we've mentioned before with 2-year-olds, they can be insane bolt one day, and then they could be me the next, just rolling down the down the 40-yard dash lane. So when you look at it, Sandrine has run the best fractions. I mean, there's just no question about it. She's been the fastest horse so far. If she can be the fastest horse again, she can probably make easy work of this field. That's why she's the favorite. I'd also agree with Terry. Number 2, Desert Dreamer. It looks like she was real close behind the top pick last time they were out. Like I think a length and a quarter, length and 3/4, something like that. That works out to be like 0.3 of a second. So very close in terms of timing. Number 5, Illustrating, is definitely run some fast times in a 5 furlong race. Ran 58-4, which is a blistering fast race for 5 furlongs. Slow down, Richard. And also ran, I think, in the highest race in terms of its, in terms of its ranking. And then finally, I agree with Tom. I like number 8, Nymphadora. Besides the name, that horse ran a 59-2 in that race at York, Tom, which is a pretty fast 5 furlong time as well. So Tom Carley wants to know, Tom, you'll be the one that'll be able to answer this. Tom to Tom, do 2-year-olds in Europe develop quicker and earlier than 2-year-olds in America who develop a little bit later in the year?
That's a good question. I think they do, but let's throw the dirt in. Does it take longer for a 2-year-old in this country, who's mainly starting on dirt, longer to get going? Because Wesley Ward has proved with his 2-year-olds that he gets them prepared, run a race on the dirt in Keeneland, and then ships them over at Royal Ascot and has won. So I think it really, you got to go back and look at the breeding. I mean, on some of these horses, because there are ones where the 2-year-olds do great and they're busts as 3-year-olds or along that line. There's some patterns involved in some of these sires. That's one of the things I look at very carefully. I try to pick them if the mare is has never gone over 6 furlongs. You're probably going to develop a little quicker as a sprinter 2-year-old, maybe in 3. But it's rare. It's more likely going to be earlier.
Why do you pick the mare over the dad?
Well, the mare is, because she's never won over 6. It's.
So you're saying that horse specifically? I thought you were saying in general.
Like no, I'm going with one in specific, but my example is that you got to take a little pedigree look if you're really serious about one of these races, because it really makes a difference in how far they can go. I mean, some of these, I mean, today's winner in the 2-year-old race is bred to go 1.25 miles, not 7 furlongs. So, I mean, but it won, and it did it in front running style. Well, since the track's favoring the front ones, that's pretty much giving you an idea of what's going on. But if that horse develops and it appears that it's got a lot of upside right now, that's a good example of a 2-year-old who's winning early at distances that wouldn't necessarily think it'd be winning at. So it's back and forth. I mean, it's really, I can't give you a certain, but there are certain patterns with some sires that you need to watch and look for.
We're going to get right back to 2-year-olds right here now.
Oh, yeah.
And this race, let me just
tell you. Not the next one, though.
Huh? No,
the next ones are 3 and up.
Oh, I must have done the wrong race then.
You didn't do...
Oh, I did race 2. Oh, good. I was what the hell? I did race 2. I might as well tell you who I liked. So I missed a race in here. Race 2 has I wrote down this as and what did it say? It was a stakes race. I don't know what that was looking at though. Yeah, it's Premier Yearling Stakes race. We're not doing that one.
No, but it's not a group race.
But we are doing that one though, right?
We're not doing that one.
Oh,
I did it. I did it as my.
I did it too. So anyway, this race has like 22 horses in it. So I missed one in here somewhere. I wrote down what I wrote down is this is crazy with 22 entrants. But in any case, I just went with number 14, number 17, number 20, and number 9. Here you go once again. Rich being the morning line maker. The 17, the 20, and the 9 are the second, third, and fourth choices. No, and then my other horse, the 14, is 25 to 1. So tomorrow I can be 25 to 1, Rich.
I've got 9, 6, 17, and 16.
9, 6. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I missed the race in here.
It's a nutty race.
Yeah. Good luck. Well, I think I got this one right. And this is the Yorkshire Oaks. Is that the next one we're doing?
Yep.
All right.
I'll take 13 at 50 to 1 because 13 is my favorite number.
All right. So Terry's got that in him. The Friday the 13th. All right. So race number 4
is it's a slightly different race.
A little more predictable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about predictable, but certainly a little better.
They're never predictable, but go ahead.
Their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Snowfall, very draw 3, really tough to go past her. Won 3 races by a combined 26 lengths. She was sort of a dud as a 2-year-old, was a dud, but her 3-year-old, then unbelievable. And she did win 1 race at the Curra as a 2-year-old. She's undefeated, obviously. She gets weight from Wonderful Tonight, which is good. So 9-7 for Wonderful Tonight and 8-12 for her. And that 120 rating in her last effort was really good. And that Irish Oaks race was impressive. I took number 4, Estrada, draw 1. 2 wins and a place in 3 starts, so lightly raced. She lost ran a Royal Ascot, lost to Loving Dream, but she raced wide, and the comment from the jockey was she was too keen early in the race, so didn't settle. So I get a little. Let's see if she can get a little better race in. Trainer is doing very well. 14 days, 33% clip. So that's I always like that. And this horse also is run on all types of surfaces, from soft to good to firm. And one other thing, being a 3-year-old, she gets weight from the older horses. I did take Loving Dream as my final choice. 6, draw 4, won at Royal Ascot, beat the one I liked for second. Her worst races were on the all-weather. I don't know why John Gosden ran 2 twice. You figure after the first one, they wouldn't run her. She didn't like the all-weather. And again, she's getting weight. Wonderful Tonight is not in my picks, and the reason is she does not like firm, good to firm. So if we don't get any rain or anything, I think they will be scratching her.
Mm-hmm. Could be. Terry, how about you?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to think like Tom, because I like Snowfall as my first pick. And
I think that so does 99.9999999% of horse players.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, she's going for her 4th win in a row. And she's what was really interesting to me was she was unplaced in 4 grade type races, and then took a break of 6 to 7 months and came back a different horse. So that was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like number 6, Loving Dream. That's one Tom talked about, and showed a really big improvement in her last race. And then I like number 4, Estrada, and Asada.
Ishada. I'm the official pronunciator, so it's Ishada.
Yeah. Well, she's had a win and 3 places in 4 starts, and her last race she had a really wide trip. And if she gets a clean trip, she can be really dangerous here. She could upset the apple cart.
Well, for me, I mean, the Snowfall is the favorite in the horse, but I think you got to try to beat it 2 to 5, right? That's why you can't really, unless you're going to bet like Snowfall in on top and put like the 2 longest shots behind Snowfall as your exacta. So I'm going to try to beat it with number 4. It's the most lightly raced horse in the field, Ashada. I feel like the horse hasn't shown us the best. It's undefeated in 3/4 away from being 3/4 of a length away from being undefeated. I agree with Tom. Wonderful tonight. 2 races on a good, didn't even get firm, just good surface, which is what they're expecting here. Ran a 4th and a 5th. Not a fan. So I downgraded Wonderful tonight. And I also like Loving Dream. So with Frankie Dettori and the irons, you can't go, and the Godsons, can't go wrong with that combination. It looks to me like the horse is coming off a break, and my concern is it might need one before it runs its best form, because when I look back at previous first starts off the bench, they weren't necessarily its best efforts. It looks like to me it's a second race in the 2-race cycle horse than it is a first race off the bench. So I think I know where we're going on this next race, Tom, because I've screwed up, like I said. So I don't have any picks in this one. So everybody's fortunate that they don't have to worry about me messing this one up. Here you go, Tom. So if I'm right, it's going to be the Sir Henry Cecil Galtres Stakes. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, good. I got one thing right today.
And Henry Cecil was one heck of a trainer in his day. This is a listed race. So it's a notch below the group races, but it is still a Class 1 race. So we've seen horses moving up from listed races and winning at the group level, and we've seen some of them drop in class just to get a win. So this race is for 3-year-olds and up, and we're going a distance. So I went with number 2, Carboletta, draw 11. Last race was awful. It's the only way I can describe it. They put the visor on her, and the result, she has finished last. Well,
take that visor off.
Didn't work. She's placed in group races before. I think she's getting a little class relief. Get that visor off her. And I think this is a good spot for her to get a 3rd win. Number 11, Portfolio, draw 2 is my next choice. Okay race last out. Moves up in distance. Yeah, she won her prior 2 races last, in progressing from maiden to handicap to listed. So she's doing what she should be doing to have keep moving forward in here. I think they're smart to not rush this horse from the way she's been running her, and why not? I think this is the right level for her to win, but I know she's good enough to place. My final, and then I should point out the trainer is at 25% ratio right now, so it's pretty good.
And anybody whose name starts with Sir has got to be good at whatever they do over there.
Yeah. Number 6, Dubai Fountain, draw 7 is my final choice. It's had 3 awful races in a row. To be very nice about it. Dropping to listed, I think, is a big class relief for this. Is going to help. I don't know if it can beat my top 2. I think class relief certainly helps, but I don't know so those races have just been so bad. But the rest of the field, so I'm going to put her in 3rd.
Terry? Yeah. Since I didn't do any picks, what do you like?
All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to go back to the 4th race and tell you one of my favorite things to do, and that's the race with Snowfall, is to do an exacta and do all with Snowfall running 2nd. Mm-hmm. So, and I do that a lot on the European races, and I've won quite a bit of fairly nice size exactas doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay, now going to the 6th race, I like number 4, Forbearance. He's had 2 wins and 2 places in 6 starts, and he just missed second at last race at the finish there. He just got caught. And then I like number 1, Amma Grace, and she's got 2 wins and 3 places and 9 starts. She had trouble in her last race, so if she gets a better trip this time, she might do better. And I'm like Tom, I picked Dubai Fountain number 3. The only problem is
number 6, or your third
number
pick.
6. I'm sorry, number 6.
Is your third pick number 3? Yeah, it's just numbers.
Yeah. Number 6. Yeah. To me, the only problem is seems to be going down in condition. And for me, this was the hardest race to handicap or look at. So, and I'm having a good time because I'm learning a lot about this European stuff. So it's great.
And as we've been talking about before, hopefully it'll help you in the Breeders' Cup races when you look at some of these foreign horses.
I think it will, because in the past for the Breeders' Cups, I didn't know what to do with the foreign horses, and so I tried to look at what some of the tipsters would say. So this is going to really help me. I'm really glad we're going down this path.
Anything else, Tom?
Well, the going, I think, is going to be good to firm. Center of the race course seems to be where you want to be when you're turning in or on the straightaways. So watch the draws. Make sure the outer draw may not be a good place to be. It really depends on how the jockey rides that race. Today we did see some number of front runners either win or hit placings. So you're going to want to look for speed.
Indeed. Speed kills. And it's the one thing you cannot teach, to be fast. That's for sure. One thing we weren't today, for sure, at 1 hour and 7 minutes in is fast. So we know it's been a long show. You want to get going. You don't have to get out of here, but you got to go wherever you're going. I get it. So We'll be back tomorrow, the 3 of us again. Terry and I will be doing Del Mar and prep for this weekend for the Pacific Classic. We'll also be back tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern time for the Players Edge podcast. Again, we'll be focused on the Del Mar, the Pacific Classic, and some other races around it. Not quite sure who our guest is going to be. Reached out to a bunch of people. So far, everybody's a little bit busy. So hopefully we'll pick somebody up as a guest. If not, it'll just be the 4 of us again. We had a good time last week. Some really good back and forth over our horses. Of course, make sure you look at Terry and I in our On the Fly or just the Fly 4. And then the Hot Dog Pick 4s at Saratoga. Terry's best bet of the day. Until we meet again tomorrow, instead of 23 hours and 30 minutes from now, in 22 hours and 52 minutes from now. Everybody, good luck at the track. And of course, may all of your tickets be winners. And see you in the winner's circle. I got too many closing lines.